We're now going to cover how to clean your geometry and connect it to our system. Now, when you're cutting up your geometry, you're going to get a lot of history on your components, as you're going to see right here. This is going to create a really crazy hierarchy. You can see some of these have these like phantom, like these groups and everything. So I like to do is I like to select all my geometry. Now I'm going to turn my joint selection off, and I'm just going to select all my geometry that I cut up. And then I'm just going to say, you know, Shift P, and that's going to unparent everything from this area. I think I want to do it the other way. So now that I did that, we're outside of all these type of groups. Now I'm not done yet because we still have some transform groups, and these are because of history. They're going to be there. So now that this is here, I'm going to just delete history, which is going to disconnect any of that, any of those connections. So delete history, boom, and you see it already fixed itself. And now that I have all these geometry cut up, we can clean these, which I can do freeze transforms, and then I can do center pivot. Okay, so now all the pieces are there. They're centered, and they're ready to be connected. So each one of these should be named based upon the binding joint they're going to represent. So for instance, this is that's our poly surface. Let's go back into our joint selection mode. This is our left pinky 1 bind, so I can grab that name. I just copied it, hit Command C, and then I can go into my poly surface and paste it down. And instead of bind, I'm just going to call it proxy at the end. So that's what we're going to go through each one of our names. We're going to select the joint, copy the name. Just not letting me do it there. See, there we go. Copy. Then I go into the geometry, and I paste it. There you go. Okay, and like I said, I just change it from proxy to bind to proxy. Okay, so once we're named and we're clean, we just need to connect it. Now this is going to be going into our animation menu. And under constraints, we're going to go into our parent constraints. Now, by default setting, the offset's turned on, which is what we definitely want that like that. And this is going to maintain that offset, so it's not going to snap. So this is going to be a driver and a driven. So we're going to select the joint first, and then we're going to shift select the geometry. And with that said, then we're going to go up to constraint and say parent. Boom. And now when I move the geometry, you'll see it moves. And we need to do this for each piece. So let's go through and select the joint. Then I'm holding down Command, and I'm selecting the proxy geometry and the outliner. So we have both of them selected, and then I do constraint. Okay. And you go through each piece. And you can see with the wireframe on that you can see the influence of where those joints. So you have to do this for every joint that's in the system. And then when you're done, just group together all your geometry, hit Command G, and then you can say this is our proxy group, and parent it right underneath your, well, this could actually be its own area, but then we can group it together into our geometry group. Okay, like that. There we go. And then we'll have all our stuff set up. All our proxies will be clean and set up.